Good evening, team. It's another opportunity that we are going to begin our study for today, this evening. So I would like to invite us all wherever we are, and those who are still unmuted, kindly you can mute so that we can get to hear from our host today, that is our trainer, that is Vema. And kindly, to those who are still unmuted, you can mute so that we can have a nice session that's just as we had yesterday. Okay, thank you. For today, we are going to have our trainer, that is Vema. And just as we had yesterday, we had a lot of discussions, and she also promised that today we'll be doing some nice practical. So I hope all of us are looking forward for the nice session that is ahead of us. Otherwise, I would like to invite Vema for the session. Thank you and welcome.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that, Joshua. Kindly confirm that you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, thank you for the confirmations. So I believe that we've all had a good day and we're very ready to tackle today's session. So maybe as a recap of what we did yesterday, maybe who can tell us what stood out for them in yesterday's class and how have they practiced it since yesterday up to today, even as you want to tackle something in demystifying artificial intelligence, learning what it is, and etc. So maybe we can get to hear from 3 people. Can just give us a recap of what stood out for them yesterday and how they have practiced whatever we learned yesterday. Maybe how they have implemented it in their activities today. Any takers? Yes, Sarah Thomas. You can see Sarah Thomas has raised her hand. Maybe you can unmute and speak to us. Brian Mutwiri. Hi, Brian. Maybe you can speak to us. Brian Mutwiri, that is. I can see that you've raised your hand. Hi, Caleb.
Yes, hi.
Hi, do you want to speak to us?
Oh, okay, I'll just, okay, good evening first.
Good evening.
On yesterday's session, what I got was the implementation of of what we studied yesterday, and I did try. The password policy. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, you can hear you.
Yes, I tried the implementation of strong password and using the password manager.
Oh, that's a nice one. So
Okay.
I hope that you'll make it a practice even on your day-to-day engagements. Yes,
Yes.
I saw someone by the name. Oh, thank you for that, Caleb. I saw someone by the name Dennis Mwangi raising their hand. Yes, Dennis, you can go next. If Dennis is not ready, maybe we can have Michelle Amulundu.
Hey, Velma.
Hi.
How are you?
Oh, it's Dennis. Okay. Yes, maybe we can just go next.
Okay, what was the question?
You can just give us a recap of whatever you stood out for you in yesterday's class
Okay.
and how you've been able to implement it today.
Oh, nice. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Seems like we lost you again. Maybe we can go to the next person as maybe Dennis has a network issue. Michelle?
Hi,
Yes,
Velma.
Michelle. Hi.
I think for me, what we learned yesterday, on phishing and social engineering was quite interesting because I don't know if it's fate or what. I had my younger brother, they're currently doing their opening exam. So, these CBC students, and we were revising. And funny enough, there were also questions with social engineering, how what attacks you can get online or over the internet. So I was able to give in revision and understand better what we learned. So yes.
That's a nice one.
So
thank you for coming through for him as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Last person. I'll go with Nelly.
Okay. Hi, Velma.
Hi.
This is Nelly. What stood out for me is the best cyber hygiene practices. So today I shared with my friends, and we were able to change our passwords and even make them at least a little bit harder that nobody can crack them. But still, we have a problem with remembering them. People are complaining that they won't remember the password.
Maybe you could have given them the option of using a password manager.
They said it's hectic. They want something that they just go in. But I explained to them and told them the dangers of having that and also saving them on their desktops. So the problem, and at least they understood.
That's a nice one.
Thank you.
So we always learn to share the knowledge with others as well, so that at least they can be able to get to learn of whatever we've learned. It's always a good practice. So maybe I'll just be giving the last chance to Ronald Mbaja. Yes, Ronald is not around. Maybe we can just proceed.
Good. I'm here.
All right.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay. So yesterday, I managed to learn the different things and some of the factors that may make someone to hack into your system and access your data, like the phishing and social engineering with passwords. And they also threats from within and lack of awareness, and you managed to take us through a lot. The one which you took us through also be in a position to identify the hacker and also how to set and manage passwords. Yeah, so that is my take from yesterday's session.
All right, thank you. Thank you for
Thank
that
you.
as well. Yeah, thank you. So I can see that we've all been good students since the first day. And today we are going to tackle something on demystifying artificial intelligence. We are still in the second day of our cybersecurity and emerging technology awareness, the webinar. So I hope that you guys are going to equally learn a lot today. And you're also going to practice it as well on your day-to-day activities. So I can see that many people wanted to talk. So we are going to have an interactive session as well today. So as I mentioned, we're tackling demystifying artificial intelligence. So maybe someone might ask, what it really is, what is this thing like the demystification of artificial intelligence? So maybe I can just pose another question to us. I just need some, maybe two people to help us in answering, maybe giving us their insights on this. So like how many people have, or maybe how many have used either ChatGPT, DeepSeek, Grok, or any other artificial intelligence in their day-to-day activities? And maybe how many people have been able to interact with these large language models, or maybe some voice assistants like the Google Assistant, like Siri. Maybe if you can tell us your experience with these tools, for those guys who've been able to use them. So any two takers? Yes, John Kamau.
Hello.
Yes, hi.
Hi.
Yes, maybe can just go first.
Actually, okay, I've been using ChatGPT and DeepSeek, and also Gemini. The thing is, okay, to me they are very helpful. They are very helpful. It has helped me with a lot of ideas, with a lot of planning. Actually, it has helped me a lot. I think for me it's a good thing, but yeah, let me say it's just a good thing for me. It has helped a lot.
So do you think that there are any dangers associated with using these tools?
Yeah, there is because it has my information. The constant talking, I've given it my CV, my most valuable information. So it's dangerous having it in its cloud. Yeah.
All right, that's a good take. Any other person who wishes to talk? Yes, Brian Masharia.
Good evening.
Good evening.
As for me, being able to interact with ChatGPT and Copilot, have been so helpful because they have been able to help me in terms of decision making, planning, being able to understand some things which tend to be complex. So in terms of being assistant, they have been of so much help because the future of AI is can't give you something that you haven't asked for it. So it helps you to have a broader perspective of whatever that you're inquiring.
All right, it only needs you to have some good skills in the prompt engineering for you to get the most accurate thing that you're looking for. Maybe we'll take the last person, that is Maureen. Agnes Maureen Odhiambo, that is.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Hi, Verma. Thank you. So I use ChatGPT for school. I'm a medical student. I use ChatGPT and Gemini sometimes to help answer questions. It's helpful in the sense that sometimes the workload is a lot and there's a lot of information you need to sift through. So it helps you to condense that. The problem is that more often than not, a lot of the things that it gives you is not medically accurate. So it's upon you now to be able to, like see those inconsistencies. As to I think that's one negative thing about it. The other is when it comes to privacy, I think there was this time when people were uploading their photos and there were cartoon versions of them. And when I did a deeper dive into it, because I was tempted to upload my photo, but then yesterday we spoke about digital footprints, and I was wondering, like, if all of us in the world were uploading our photos, how we look 10 years from now, how our cartoons look like, is that even safe for us? Yeah, so I think that's what I can say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. That's an interesting view from the same. So I think guys were uploading the photos for the Ghibli images. So this all revolves around how ChatGPT is employing some privacy policies and how they safeguard our data. So maybe we'll learn something about data protection tomorrow in tomorrow's class as we finish up on AI and the emerging technologies today. So ideally, in our digital economy, we have very many transactions taking place, and we have this technology landscape growing like every other time. So right now we see people moving from maybe using some manual maybe going through some manual operations like we did earlier on in the earlier years before the uh before maybe these AI models came into practice. So right now we see most of the guys are implementing the use of AI in their day-to-day activities, and we can all attest to the fact that these tools have come into place to help us to achieve our work easily, but they are coming just as a complementary to help us achieve our work, but we're not supposed to be so much reliant on them because we know that these models are learning like every other day. So it all depends on you going back to whatever content it has given you and you confirm whether it's right or wrong. So you also need to be quite proficient in prompt engineering for it to give you some accurate knowledge. So ideally, artificial intelligence, that is AI, it refers to machines, computer systems, performing tasks that typically require human intelligence, such as learning from experience, reasoning through different problems, and perceiving the world. So AI has a cognitive process of learning. It starts from learning, then that is the core process of knowledge acquisition. It reasons by drawing conclusions from data. Then it perceives this by interpreting the sensory information on its memory. Then it performs the language understanding, thus facilitating communication and giving you the feedback based on whatever you've based on whatever you've asked from it. So maybe let's think of it as an analogy. Think of artificial intelligence as a super smart apprentice, which observes patterns. Maybe like when you go to maybe the big hotels, we have chefs learning the recipes. Then after observing the patterns, it practices the patterns and improves them over time without needing constant instructions. So why should you demystify artificial intelligence? We have many people having the fear that artificial intelligence is coming to take over their jobs. But in ideal sense, artificial intelligence is coming in as a magic, but it's not a job killer because whatever, okay, there's this common saying that goes that artificial intelligence is not here to take your job, but those guys who are quite proficient in using artificial intelligence will rather take your jobs. So ideally, artificial intelligence is just but an advanced algorithm powered by data. So it's not scientific fiction, as it is embedded in everyday tools that we use, from the different assistants in our job, to fraud alerts on your bank applications, to predictive policing in smart cities. Maybe we have a smart city like Konza in Kenya. So it has different components. Some of its core components include machine learning. Ideally, we have algorithms that learn from data to make predictions without explicit programming. So you can have machine learning algorithms which scan email patterns to flag phishing. So ideally, I think Gmail has adopted this. That's why you can see some emails being flagged as spam, unless you confirm that it's not a spam email. Then we have natural language processing, which enables these machines to understand and respond to human language. So daily these machines, they understand and respond to human language, just like the chatbots that we have in customer service. Maybe a good example without being biased is the Zuri chatbot by Safaricom, which is being used as a fast responder to some customer service queries that you might have. In case it's not able to solve your queries, it will just refer you to the next available human agent who can sort your issues. But you also have some, I think we've also used, artificial intelligence is also used in maybe by attackers, they use some AI generated email scams that mimic some maybe slangs that we use in our day-to-day operations, so that at least we cannot be able to flag them as suspicious maybe emails or messages. The next component maybe is the computer vision. We have artificial intelligence interpreting visual data. A good example is the aspect of facial recognition in the security cameras, which is so much vital for it is so much vital for tracking maybe incidences, but it's also vulnerable to some deepfake spoofs. So yesterday we talked about deepfake and what it is. It is the use of AI to generate some human-like maybe voices, images, and etc. The last one we have the generative AI, which creates some new content like text, images, or audio. So these generative AI can be used in creating some fake IDs by attackers or some fake voices in phishing, and also for simulating some cyber drills, which can be able to ensure that we're quite cyber aware in our institutions. So I can take us to how artificial intelligence works. So the first step, ideally for those guys who've interacted with these large language models for AI, maybe ChatGPT, DeepSeek, Grok, Copilot, and etc. We know that for these artificial intelligence model to work well, the first maybe mechanism is for data collection. So these these tools, they rely on vast human input and data to learn the different patterns. So these, we should ensure, they ensure that this data is unbiased and secure to prevent some security outcomes. Because a risk that might come by it is maybe this AI can learn to be biased, or if it's maybe an attacker can inject some poisonous queries, so maybe some poisonous scripts to it, which will lead to data leaks or maybe flawed security within the AI models. The second thing is these models are also trained because they also learn. So they have algorithms that process data to identify different trends. Maybe for the phishing, they are being fed with some samples of phishing emails and how they look like, and some keywords that they can look for from the different sample phishing emails, so that at least they can be able to flag an email as spam or not spam, or maybe legitimate. Then they have the aspect of decision making, where these models, they predict or act in a particular way depending on the logic that it has been fed with. Then it has a feedback loop, which improves with data as you key in, as you query the AI models on every other day, on maybe on any other activity of your day, these models, they tend to learn from whatever data that you feed them with. That's why we've had maybe some saying that goes AI is constantly learning, but human beings are constantly glued to their machines. So human beings have stopped learning, but instead they have reverted back to injecting some queries to AI. But in turn, from these queries that we inject into AI, AI is rather learning, and we are not for us we are not learning in other ways or not. So for artificial intelligence, it has some real-life applications in cybersecurity. But before we go into that, maybe I can just play for us a video on how artificial intelligence works, so that at least you can have a visual memory of how artificial intelligence works rather than having some words, because I believe that we can quite remember it well when seeing videos and we can relate with them quite well. So if you can hear the sound, maybe you can just do a thumbs up for me.
How does artificial intelligence work? Artificial intelligence is the learning of processing machines, which allows them to act as human intelligence does. Computers are trained to search for information. There are several fields related to artificial intelligence, such as robotics, machine learning, or cognitive intelligence, which are capable of providing different solutions. Machine learning is one of the best-known branches of artificial intelligence. This technique helps computers learn by repetition through patterns that track millions of data. It's a statistical learning that helps predict future behaviors. Machines improve by constantly acquiring wisdom without human intervention. Cognitive intelligence is actually a more advanced scenario. Cognitive intelligence raises a more advanced scenario and makes methods based on statistical learning evolve. Machines are equipped with millions of definitions, slogans, concepts, and relationships in order to learn the context of language and understand the meaning of words. Computers read the information, but also learn to understand, interpret, and reason, providing strategic value for decision-making. So, how can we distinguish the value of different technologies? The human brain clearly visualizes an animal or a car. With statistical learning, the machine loses some nuances. It will have trouble to clearly determine whether it's a car or an animal. It lacks the context of the information that's been provided. Cognitive intelligence understands the context and will quickly distinguish between a jaguar that walks through the jungle and a jaguar that runs through the city. What benefits does AI bring to the business world? The ability to understand and process large volumes of information from very different sources. Improving the service and efficiency in customer service. Cogito technology by expert system interprets, reasons information, and meets the user's needs. Cogito reads, interprets, reasons, and meets the user's.
Yeah, so I think from that video, you can be able to see there was that funnel that had different colors. So this model was able to learn to distinguish the different colors and sort them according to the different color that is supposed to do the functionality on. So artificial intelligence has come in handy in this current generation. And for us to remain competitive within the market, we need to employ it in our real life activities. So daily artificial intelligence comes in as a double-edged sword, but as well, not only for us to help us in our businesses rather, but also for the attackers to sophisticate their attacks using artificial intelligence. So some of the areas where, not to mention all, but some of them, where artificial intelligence can be used in our in the real life is in cybersecurity. It can be used to perform fraud detection, where it spots the unusual transactions maybe in banking, and it prioritizes these threats effectively by maybe categorizing them as maybe high risk, maybe or critical risk, so that at least they can be remediated effectively. And we have artificial intelligence also coming in to help us in remediation of these threats as soon as possible. So artificial intelligence, we see that it prioritizes these threats 56% better than it used to be in 2024, because it's constantly learning and it's constantly improving in its operations. As well, we know that we have autonomous cars. Those are the self-driving cars. I believe that you've seen some cars maybe in the developed countries that are driving themselves without the drivers. So this is also a form of artificial intelligence coming into the smart infrastructure space, where we have these vehicles have been programmed in such a way that they can identify the different road signs, ensuring real-time decisions for safety, and they can as well observe the traffic systems. So these vehicles I think they are audited to, and also these vehicles are also audited and they are also tested to prevent hacks that can happen to them on these smart roads. Because we know that if someone hacks into these autonomous vehicles, they can be able to redirect it in some places that they're not supposed to be going to. We've also seen the artificial intelligence being applied in healthcare for diagnostics. So it analyzes and scans different diseases in the hospitals, which thereby they also protect this patient data that is stated under the Kenya's Data Protection Act, under the sensitive health information, which needs to be as secure as possible. We also see doctors implementing some maybe cameras that can be able to locate where problems are in the human bodies, and they can be able to perform surgeries effectively. Something that we could not do maybe in the earlier years. Then as well, you can see that we have chatbots in the existence, which are offering the 24/7 services to us. An example that I had given earlier on is for the Zuri chatbot, where you can be able to interact with the different services by Safaricom, even when the human agents are not around. So we can appreciate the fact that these artificial intelligence has come in to help us to perform our day-to-day activities and to use in our work. So with that, maybe you can just show us another video on how this artificial intelligence has come in to help us in our day-to-day activities and how you can use it in our day-to-day activities as well.
Every day, AI helps people with their personal lives, jobs, transportation, education, health, and more, maybe even without them realizing it. Here are some examples of AI in action on a typical day. In the morning, a teenager wakes up and uses facial recognition to unlock her phone. She scrolls through social media feeds to see what's new. Then she asks the voice assistant on her phone what the weather is going to be like that day so she knows how to dress for school. A college student uses an app on his phone to deposit a birthday check from his grandmother. He takes a photo of the check, and the app automatically reads the handwriting to figure out the amount. It then deposits it into his account. Meanwhile, a younger student uses a different app that is teaching her a new language. The app listens to what she says and can recognize what she's saying even if she makes mistakes. The app then gives her personalized feedback on her pronunciation. At the same time, a person gets in their car to go to work, and the navigation system plans the fastest route based on current traffic. In the car, they listen to a music streaming service, which already knows what types of songs they like based on what they listened to before. When a factory worker arrives at her job, she sees that, as usual, humans and robots are both assembling cars. The robots do some of the more dangerous or repetitive tasks, like welding or painting. AI helps the robots recognize the tools they need to pick up or check parts to make sure they have been cut exactly right. When the cars are completed, computers help manage inventory and plan efficient shipping routes to deliver them around the world. Now, meet a farmer who's checking on her crops. She notices that some of her plants look unhealthy. She pulls out her smartphone and uses an app to take a photo of the leaves. The app can detect crop disease and also identify harmful insects. The app identifies the problem and recommends treatment. A surgeon is using AI to help make a medical diagnosis for a patient, and then a robot helps her perform a successful surgery. Afterwards, she goes to visit patients in a nursing home, where robots gently lift seniors in and out of bed and help them move around. In the meantime, a traveler needs to book a flight to another city. An automated customer service chatbot helps him book his ticket on the phone. Once he's on board, autopilot flies the plane for much of the flight. AI is even used in space. On the International Space Station, an astronaut talks to a free-floating robot that helps with chores and does jobs that are risky for humans. Now that you've learned about how other people use AI every day, think about how you use it. Spend a few minutes thinking about this question. What are 3 ways that you or someone you know uses AI? The video you just watched is part of a lesson that helps people.
Yes, so ideally, as you have seen in the video, we can use artificial intelligence in a wide variety of activities, in our day-to-day activities. So maybe previously we could use our cognitive functionalities to think so hard to get solutions to some problems. But nowadays we're being told that whatever you want to do, someone has done it somewhere. So it's all about doing some research on it and trying to find some leeways on how you can improve on whatever you want to do. So it's a call for innovations in the AI space for us to come up with innovative ideas that can help us to make work easier for us in our organizations, maybe in our country and etc. Yeah, so AI has some positive impact. So in cybersecurity, initially we used to do some manual analysis in curbing some threats, which is quite time consuming. But as AI comes into play, it helps us in reducing some response time and quite efficiently. So the first thing is the aspect of it helps in the AI-driven threat detection, where artificial intelligence helps in analyzing data for the different anomalies, thus reducing the response time using some different tools that can be able to correlate these events and identify the different anomalies. The second thing is the aspect of automation, where artificial intelligence helps in handling our routine tasks by predicting some different attacks that can be leveraged to our technology environments. We have tools like the user-enabled behavior analysis for some 0 days. So there is 0 days are vulnerabilities that have not yet been identified in our organizations. So by leveraging artificial intelligence, it can help us to identify some of these user-enabled behavior analytics to identify the 0-day vulnerabilities that can be leveraged to our environments to paralyze our daily operations. Then it integrates the aspect of zero trust. So someone yesterday mentioned the aspect of zero trust. So daily zero trust ensures that we don't trust anyone. So for anyone to access any resource, they need to verify themselves so that at least you can get to track back whatever happened to whoever hosts the specific thing. So AI is also trained on different ethics, and also it uses the different frameworks, maybe like the NIST, AI security controls. So for the Kenyan landscape, we can align artificial intelligence with our national cybersecurity strategy by coming up with a pilot artificial intelligence for the e-government protection. We have various services of the government being hosted online. So we can come up with a strategy that will help us to align with this national cybersecurity strategy. So for every good thing, it also has its drawbacks. So artificial intelligence as well, it has its negative part of being. One of it being maybe before going to the negative part of being, you can imagine that you get a call from your boss, which is a very, very perfect voice that mimics his voice, but you can't be able to distinguish whether it's the actual voice or not. And this person is asking you for urgent funds. Since you have presumed that it's a boss, you comply, only to learn that this was an AI-generated scam. So maybe I can just give us a moment to think about it and whatever reaction that you can get from it. Yeah, so some of the negative impacts that AI brings into play, in as much as it has some positive impacts, it has influenced this cybercrime landscape, causing the geopolitical tensions all around. So we have some of the countermeasures being put into place, like the international regulations and government surveillance to help us in reducing the aspects of cybercrime that has been sophisticated using the presence of AI. It has also led to financial losses, to a surge in the financial losses, which impact the business operations because we have an increased fraud and recovery costs being so high because these attacks are becoming so sophisticated because the use of AI mimics some attacks that can evade the detection from the endpoint detection and response system that we have, or maybe the tool that we have. Then it also erodes the public trust. It has increased the digital distrust by destroying the brand images and bringing into the aspect of social engineering as well. Then AI, it has led to some rapid tech advancements, such as the deepfake technology. The deepfake technology mimics maybe the different videos, the different voices for the people that we know. And for us, maybe if you don't have a knowledge of how to distinguish these things, you will fall into these traps. It has led to increased energy consumption. Then as well, it has led to the aspect of the data privacy concerns because because of the rise of the deepfakes. Okay, so fast forward, we have some other types of artificial intelligence attack trends that are going in. One of them, as I mentioned, is the deepfake deception, which erodes trust in information. We have some attacks like the AI model poisoning, whereby attackers inject some malicious prompt into the AI model, thus flowing its efficiency in decision making. Then as well, we have the supply chain exploits, which automates the different attacks on the different vendors. So maybe by this, I can just play another video for us, so that at least we can be able to conceptualize whatever is happening on the PPTs to whatever happens in real world scenarios. So I'll just play it in a minute. Or before that, yeah, I'll just play it in a minute.
From causing fatal car crashes to what if I told you the AI systems you trust could turn against you? From causing fatal car crashes to global markets and even risking lives in hospitals. Today, we expose the hidden threats of AI you've never even thought of. This is a wake-up call you can't afford to miss. Artificial intelligence. It's the cornerstone of modern innovation, powering everything from your smartphone's voice assistant to life-saving medical equipment. But what happens when the AI systems we trust turn against us? But before we go any further, what exactly is an adversarial attack? Simply put, it's when a malicious individual or group exploits vulnerabilities in artificial intelligence systems to wreak havoc and disrupt our lives. These attacks can target everything from autonomous vehicles to facial recognition systems and even financial transactions. Let's kick things off with image recognition, a technology that's become ubiquitous in everything from social media filters to autonomous vehicles. But what if I told you that a few strategically altered pixels could trick an AI into seeing something entirely different? Imagine the chaos if a self-driving car misinterprets a stop sign as a yield sign, causing it to breeze through an intersection. The potential for accidents is not just theoretical, it's a ticking time bomb. But it's not just about images. Text-based AI models are also ripe for exploitation. These algorithms are the backbone of everything from customer service chatbots to sophisticated natural language processing systems. A well-crafted piece of text can manipulate these models into divulging sensitive information or carrying out unauthorized actions. Have you ever heard of someone tricking GPT or Googlebot into explaining how to create a Molotov cocktail? Something they're explicitly programmed not to do. Now, consider this. What if a skilled individual could manipulate these systems to release confidential medical records or even unlock smart home security systems? The potential risks are staggering, from personal identity theft to sweeping data breaches. Healthcare is another sector where AI promises revolutionary changes, but the stakes are incredibly high. Imagine a scenario where an adversarial attack alters the pixels in a medical scan just enough to make a malignant tumor appear benign. Not only could this lead to incorrect treatment, but it could also delay life-saving interventions, putting patients at grave risk. The financial world is no stranger to AI, with algorithms responsible for a significant portion of trading activity. But what if an adversarial attack could manipulate these algorithms? We could see stock markets crash, currencies devalue, and entire economies destabilize. The ripple effects would reverberate globally, jeopardizing everything from individual savings to international trade. Believe it or not, we've already had a taste of this chaos. An AI-generated image of an explosion near the Pentagon once triggered a mini stock market crash. Major media outlets like Indian Republic TV and Russia Today even amplified the impact by sharing this fake news with their combined 2 million Twitter followers. Finally, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Cybersecurity. In an age where data is the new oil, securing it is paramount. Adversarial attacks pose a unique challenge, as they can slip through traditional security measures undetected. This makes them a potent tool for cyber criminals and state-sponsored hackers alike, raising questions about national security and individual privacy. As we continue to integrate AI into the fabric of our society, the urgency to understand and defend against adversarial attacks grows exponentially. It's a race against time, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Are we prepared for what lies ahead?
Okay, so maybe a question goes like, are we prepared for whatever comes after the introduction of artificial intelligence to our day-to-day activities? Maybe you can just assume that artificial intelligence is more of a necessary evil to making our work easier like every other time. Yeah, so maybe for the last one, something about the deepfakes. Maybe you can just watch this last video for the deepfakes, then so that at least you can relate to, maybe someone has been listening to me mentioning something about deepfakes like every other time, but they cannot be able to relate to it. So this video will enable you to at least have a gist of whatever deepfakes are and how they can be influenced into maybe creating these fake voices and launching some scams onto us. So for those guys asking about the links, I've included them in the notes. So once the PPTs have been shared, you'll just be able to interact with them. But in the meantime, I also share them for you to have a look back into at your own free time.
AI is used for all kinds of things, from smart tech to robotics and gaming. But there's one group that are using artificial intelligence for rather nefarious reasons. Criminals. Imagine you're working at a British company and your CEO calls.
It's the deadline for a transfer in Germany. Since you're an hour behind us, I need you to transfer 220,000 euros to an account in Hungary.
You recognize his voice and his mild German accent, so you complete the transaction. But it wasn't your CEO, Johannes, you were talking to. It was an AI. This is the case of the false Johannes.
The false Johannes is the first one where we see very strong indications that AI has been used. We don't see that yet in other cases, but if it's very well done, that's the trick about it, we might not even know it.
But how was it done?
We are quite certain that it must have been an AI-based voice cloning software.
Marie-Christine Krug is a cybersecurity expert with insurance company Euler Hermes. The company had to pay off the insurance claim for the false Johannes case. All you would need to program one of these voice clones is recorded snippets of the target's voice. These can often be found online, for example, from interviews the target's done. Deepfakes use artificial intelligence to recreate faces and voices of people. But how? Deepfakes are the product of not one, but two AI algorithms that work together, and something called a generative adversarial network, or GAN. The two algorithms are called a generator and a discriminator. The generator is producing a fake video. The discriminator is trying to distinguish between the real images and the fake video. This iterative process continues till the generator is able to fool the discriminator into thinking that the footage is real. By watching recordings and gathering data to analyze how people move their faces, artificial intelligence can then recreate this live. They can even be used to manipulate the lips of someone else, so it looks like they're saying something different. This was invented to improve dubbing films into foreign languages, but it could also be used for identity fraud, to make it possible to impersonate someone for a remote verification for your bank. But it's not just this that criminals are using AI for. It also makes traditional hacking more convenient.
And really what we're seeing, it just is this ability to use artificial intelligence just to increase the speed and volume of attacks. And that's really been the theme of 2020, and it's pulled into 2021. It's just the speed and volume of attacks has just gone up by orders of magnitude.
Evidence was found that a leaked database of 1.4 billion passwords was used to gather data. Hackers can also use AI bots on social media to farm information and fish for account details. AI can, however, also come to the rescue, detecting whether something is deepfake or whether activity from a social media account is suspicious is also done by AI.
It's a bit of an arms race, really. It's you know, the cyber criminals have access to artificial intelligence, so do the defenders, and really it's just a question of trying to keep up and making sure that you're using the appropriate techniques at speed now.
Companies already lose millions and billions of dollars a year in fraud, but this number could keep growing.
So I think from the few videos that we've watched, we've been able to resonate to whatever I was trying to share from the notes. So maybe before, because I've spoken too much and we say that we're going to have an interactive session, maybe I can just pose some questions to us. I know that we have guys who are working in the government and in different spaces. Maybe, okay, can you confirm that you can hear me, someone? Someone, can you confirm that you can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay,
Yes.
so
Yes, we can
the
hear
person
you.
who has typed in the chat has a problem with their microphone. So I know that we are working in different sectors, right from IT, policy sectors to the healthcare systems. So I have some questions for us, maybe to have a discussion on. So from the videos that we've watched, we can appreciate that we have artificial intelligence to help us in making our work easier. But what do you foresee as the pros and cons of having AI in our day-to-day activities? So any takers? Ray can just echo whatever I've said. We have artificial intelligence making our work easier. But what do you foresee in our industry as the pros and cons of using artificial intelligence in our day-to-day activities? And how can you as well leverage artificial intelligence to help you in your day-to-day work, maybe at the different sectors that you're working in? I can see hands being raised, but I can't be able to track whoever is raising their hands. Yes, Beatrice.
Hi, Rima.
Hi.
So now I have one question to ask as a cybersecurity newbie who's trying to understand it. Yesterday we covered a topic on vision. whereby they can be able to detect your voice. So what if already the scammers already having recording of your voice, and now with the rising of the AI voice cloning, what practical steps can somebody take on that?
Okay, so this goes back to some key features of biometrics. So we know that our voices are also a form of biometrics. So if you know how to distinguish the different voice patterns from an actual person to maybe how a robot talks, or maybe how a deepfake tries to mimic the different voices, you can be able to distinguish between a legitimate person and an illegitimate person, such as maybe the tonal variations, because definitely this deepfake won't have the different tonal variations that a normal human being can have when having conversations with you, like legitimately. So maybe you can go and do a research on voice as a biometric feature, and you can see the different features on the key features on maybe a legitimate voice of a person that is actually talking, and unlegitimate voice patterns of someone who's trying to use artificial intelligence to maybe communicate with you. So I think that will be quite of help to you, because they have different they have key features that they display, that they have to help you to distinguish between whether this person is a legitimate person or maybe it's a deep fake. So you'll be able to see that. Then as an exercise, I'm going to give us a link to a site that you can be able to generate different voices, so that at least it will help you to distinguish between a real voice and a fake voice.
I'm just so curious to understand the fact that now they have my voice, they can use that against me to maybe scam. It may not be employment, but maybe to scam me through my other friends or something like that. So how can you be able to stop that? Or how can you be able to control that? Like the example you've given us about the boss calling you and yet it's not.
First thing, maybe if you realize that they have your voice, you can pose a caution to your people, maybe to your connections, so that at least they can be aware of that. Then as well, you can report to the various mediums that you think that this person can be able to use your voice to mimic your voice to perform some fraudulent activities.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Caleb. Hi, Caleb. So maybe I can just revert my question. Can just echo it back. We've seen that artificial intelligence is a good innovation in our day-to-day activities. So what do you foresee as the pros and cons of AI in our day-to-day activities, and how can it be used in the different sectors that you are involved in? Yes, Agnes. Can see Caleb is not able to talk.
Okay, I think that question has reminded me of this study that was done and how it turns out that Kenyans are the biggest users of ChatGPT. And the person who posted it on LinkedIn was very proud of, Kenyans and Africans. And I don't know how to feel about it because I think the biggest downside of this is that we might over rely on artificial intelligence and all these things like ChatGPT so much so that we don't think for ourselves. We let AI think on our behalf for us. And I think this Sasa is what now brings the negative effects that we were seeing. Like, you see how it might change the photo you're looking at, maybe as a doctor, into something else, or cause accidents and everything. So I think one of the biggest threats is over reliance on our part, so much so that we don't think for ourselves, or we don't pause and think that might this be AI, might this be manipulated,
Yeah, that's true. So there's a belief that maybe Kenyans are too lazy. That's why we over rely on artificial intelligence, maybe to help us in thinking, maybe to think for us. But in as much as it
Hello.
has its pros, it also has its cons. Yes, I
Hello.
can hear someone speaking. Yes, yes.
Yeah, so I just wanted to contribute on that.
Mhm.
I hope you can hear me now.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, on the challenges, I just wanted to maybe I stand to be corrected, but I just wanted to I have a different opinion on where you said that AI is not going to lead to job losses. I think to some extent it will,
Okay.
because one, we for now is like we are using we are in the stage of weak AI, of which you find that in some instances, like in various sectors, some people will have to be rendered jobless uh, if they don't use AI to improve their career in a way, because there are some things like we have the three stages of AI: the weak AI, the strong AI, and the super AI. For which they say in an article I read that in super AI they tend to be they will they will be more than a human being in what they do in perfection. So to some extent, I think that is where we should look at. Again, it has to render some people jobless. People who don't adopt. Actually, it's a good thing, but if we don't adopt it to to facilitate our career and to improve on what we are doing now, it will have to render some people jobless. Thank you.
Yes, that's true. So this has been a conversation in many conferences. Like ideally, AI will not take our jobs ideally, but those guys who know how to leverage AI into their day-to-day activities will take our jobs, because we are having a shift from maybe doing the manual work to incorporating artificial intelligence to help us to do this work efficiently. I hope that crowns it all, Caleb.
Yeah, it's true. And then when you say what I just wanted to add something, you see in business perspective, people tend to they want to reduce the cost of doing business. So when they were to employ maybe three or two people, and they can adopt AI, which can be, I mean, cost effective. I think there somebody has to be rendered jobless. So that is my. But it's something on we should have a conversation or maybe some other time.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And
Okay.
thank you for those highlights. So we can take the last person on that question. I saw John Muigai. John is not available, then you can have Michael Ochieng.
Bad.
Okay,
Bad.
hi, Stella.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
Okay, I think AI is it's a very nice and interesting technology. For instance, for me, like I'm very much interested in farming, and I feel that I can use AI in like to detect the soil moisture, the soil nutrients. That's where maybe it can really work nicely. And again, in Kenya, we have very large pieces of land, like those areas that are not well developed, like semi-arid areas. I think the government can use this technology to detect the same, like the soil moisture, and then they'll know the way forward, like the techniques they can use to utilize those pieces of land.
Right, those are so powerful insights. So I believe that we can all attest to the fact that AI is coming in to help us to improve our day-to-day activities and maybe to come up with some innovative ways to solve some of the problems that we've been facing in a long while. So maybe my second question for a discussion. I know that we have a variety of professionals in the conversation today. So do you think that it is a good practice for us to use artificial intelligence, and to what extent is it? You can see that Sarah and Caleb are still raising their hands. So Sami Kamau.
Yes. Hello.
Yes, hi.
Uh, all I can say is AI is like a Pandora box. You have already opened, and there's no going back at it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no, for me, according to my opinion, there's no extent that we can. There's no limited extent that we can use it, because it's already happening and it's already growing. But my 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 problem is integrating it to diagnostics, self-driven cars, uh, military perspective, because it can change as 1 to a 0, a 0 to a 1, and it may create a big impact in a large scale. So that's my kind of opinion.
Right, thank you for that. Someone is asking me to repeat the question. So do you think it's a good practice to use artificial intelligence, and to what extent? Sami has told us that artificial intelligence already is like a Pandora box that is already open to us, and there's no going back because it keeps on improving every other day and keeps on being interesting to use. So maybe Caleb, maybe you can just give us your view on the same.
Okay, to that question, I will say to the extent that we have the artificial intelligence now. I think to the extent we can use it, we should not exhaust it for now. Especially those who are doing it in research. If you're not maybe a professional in cyber security or this tech, because there is a weakness now, because it has some security issues. So even if it's a good thing, but it's still, I feel it's kind of immature to do some extraordinary things. So we can use it in that limit of not exposing that our data too much, because if we do that, there will be no way we can retrieve that. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. Wilfred?
Hello, can you
Hi.
hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, so my question is, okay, if after a breach has happened or someone has been hacked and money has been lost, so what are the disaster management strategies that can be used to recover the lost money? Because we've seen that some of the prevention mechanisms can fail. So how is the government helping in the disaster recovery of if someone has if money has been lost by an organization? Thank you.
Okay, so I believe that different organizations have different policies revolving around disaster recovery and incident response. So it all depends. It all depends on how the company is well established to, and maybe what their maybe incident response and disaster recovery uh, plans and procedures, on how they have aligned themselves on maybe remediating against some of these incidences that have occurred. So they might vary from one organization to another. So it all depends on the different organizations. Yes, so maybe you can go to the next person. Maxwell, I saw someone like Maxwell, okay.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
So I wanted to contribute a little bit more. So artificial intelligence, I think artificial intelligence has been there, only that it has not been put in place like of late, but it has more advantages and disadvantages. Disadvantages is that there will be a lot of security challenges in different fields of technology. Also, AI has also will make human beings to act like robots, never to think or to generate ideas. But AI, I think it's a good idea for us to go as technologists. Okay, thank you.
Okay, I believe that AI is just there to refine our ideas, but not to think for us from scratch. Because if we leave AI to think for us and to do everything for us, we might not be able to perform our task as humans, just as Maxwell has mentioned that we'll start acting like robots. So we can take the last ideas, maybe the last additions from David. David Oluangu.
Hello. I
Hi.
just want to add on what has been said. Personally, I believe that as technology advances, we should be on the front line to explore. But if we don't, then we will remain behind. Now, when the AI was introduced, organizations and people began to incorporate it into their organizations and their daily tasks. That means we too or anybody else should do it. Otherwise, we will remain behind. Now, so it's advisable now to use AI. But now, to what extent? I want to say that we should not rely it fully, just as some have said. We should not completely rely on it. We should just understand it's a model, and we should not believe it to be very correct. So thank you. That is my input.
So at times these models also hallucinate. And previously there was an instance when Grok was also hallucinating in giving some feedback. So if you entirely rely on artificial intelligence, it might give you some answers of which it hallucinates about. So it's all about you as a human to come back and review whatever it has given you and try to pick up some key points that can help you to refine your ideas so that at least you can be functional as well. So I saw John complaining that he has a burning issue. Maybe John Obiero can tell us what he has in mind, because so that at least you can crown it up with that. John Obiero. Okay, it seems that he dropped off. So maybe we can go to the last question for the discussion. So I know that we have policymakers in the room today, so maybe they can help us in dissecting these questions as well, so that at least it can enhance our understanding. So how do you think? Okay, I know that there have been conversations around coming up with a task force to regulate the use of AI in our country. So how can our government leverage artificial intelligence in our country to enhance our technology? Yesterday, guys were saying that some other countries have advanced technologies that are advanced more than whatever Kenyans we have. So how do you think our government can leverage this artificial intelligence to enhance our technology landscape? And how can these artificial intelligence be regulated? Yes, Caleb.
Hello?
Yes, hi.
You can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I just wish to contribute on that again. On the issue of our government implementing AI, I think I personally have a concern. If you remember the question I asked yesterday, if we can't protect, we can't protect our infrastructure as a country now. And you see, nowadays, the international conflict and AI, if you find the algorithms that are used, they are outsourced from other countries. And basically, what I said yesterday, if I had on it, that depending on the policies that the other countries have, if we can only use the government can only implement AI on services that don't require exposure of critical data or critical infrastructure to maybe facilitate faster service delivery. But if at all they will go to the extent of using AI in critical infrastructure, then we become very vulnerable to attacks and competition from other countries. So instead of it being a positive thing to the country, it will be a negative thing. Thank you.
Okay, so those are wonderful insights. So we can get to hear someone else's opinion. That is John Obiero. John is not around. You can have Hujal. If Hujal is not around, maybe you can have Aloisi. Aloisi Owuor. Aloisi is not around. You can have Michael Oching. Michael Oching. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we're able to hear you.
Yes.
All right, so maybe Michael Oching, if you can hear me. You can see that Michelle has already unmuted. Maybe Michelle, you can just go next.
Oh, okay, that was unintentional. But yes, so to answer your question, Kenya recently launched the National AI Strategy to, I think, 2025 to 2030. And I feel like in this era, since AI is an upcoming thing, unfortunately, we cannot already have laws or regulations or legislations beforehand. But as we go, like now, them launching this strategy, it's a good thing because it shows that we are learning or we are borrowing from maybe the European countries, the developing countries, and trying to work around it to see what maybe affects Africans, how we can leverage AI and try to put policies in place. And I think also alongside that, the Data Protection Act is a very critical document, and it's timely for when it was implemented, because now working hand in hand, we can be able to come up with laws and regulations to protect maybe the citizens and educate them and create awareness around these things, show that just making them to be aware of their rights even in this era of AI, and what they need to look out for and how to navigate the AI system. So I do feel like as a country we are making baby steps. Unfortunately, we'll lag behind a bit because we have to borrow from the European countries, the developed countries, but we're still making strides. So yeah, I think that's what the government can do and is doing. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So as well, we know that our Data Protection Act was highly borrowed from the European Union. So I also believe that our artificial intelligence policies and strategies also be borrowed, and we can be able to implement them as well to help us in protecting our data privacy. So you can have 3 people, Wilfred Oluko, Arnold Kazungu, and Nicholas Mwenda.
So, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
So my thinking was, if the government can invest on AI research such that people can be taught more about AI, and also students can be provided with materials to learn more about AI so that they can know more. And also, I think that the government should also set up a data center, our own data center for AI to process critical information that can be a threat of national security. Thank you.
All right, thank you for those insights. I believe the policymakers in the government are taking key note into this so that at least we can also be at par with the other countries as they are adopting the use of AI. So we have Arnold. If Arnold is not around, you can have Nicholas, or maybe Nicholas, then Ujal Ali. Yes, Ujal Ali. Ujal, can you hear me? Okay, you can see Maxwell as unmuted.
Yes. So I wanted to add something small. So the government should invest in young population. Mostly most of them are good in technology, from AI to simple tasks. Because if you look at the government employment or government facilities, most of elderly people are the ones in those spaces. So learning technology might be a big problem. Also, government also should implement AI in the facility, detect frauds, and also to to do away with the complication that might occur during the processing of government services, and also to to put a lot of money in AI research in in the education sector and technology. Thank you.
Right, thank you for that. And maybe we can take Ali as the last person. Yes, Ali.
Hello everyone in this forum.
Hi.
Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I am called Hujali Ali. If I attend this question, if the government can enhance technology by investing in research and innovation, or improving education and digital skills, and building a strong infrastructure, supporting startups, and adopting digital services. These steps help the country to become more advanced and effectively and competitive in the modern world. And doing more research like modern AI tools. And I wish you the best.
All right, thank you for that. So I believe most people have highlighted the keen interest in conducting artificial intelligence research within the technology space. So, and I believe that most of us in this call are within the government space, and I know that we've been lagging behind in the research field as a government. So maybe we can take it upon ourselves in our different sectors and departments to conduct our research on the different gaps that we have as a country, so that we can come up with innovations that can help us solve these technological gaps that we have as a country, to help us to advance in technology in Kenya as a whole. So you can proceed. So we have some of the current trends in AI. So one of them being the aspect of having the shadow AI risks. So shadow AI ideally refers to the use of artificial intelligence tools, the models and services within different organizations without the knowledge or the approval of the IT security team, or maybe the IT team as large, and the security departments. So this comes with it comes with a couple of risks that are attached to it. So one of them being the governance challenges due to the use of unsanctioned artificial intelligence, maybe using the free versions of these AI models. As well, it can come up with, someone mentioned here, it will come up with data privacy and security risks. Because recently we had some concerns that ChatGPT was exposing some conversations that it had with some humans. So it will have some data privacy concerns, such as the unintentional exposure of sensitive public data for the different countries. Just as Caleb mentioned earlier on, that it will increase our attack surface because it will expose our sensitive data as a country to our adversaries. And as well, it will lead to some legal and compliance risks as well. Then the current age, we have the aspect of quantum computing coming into play. So recently, I read a blog on some of the Chinese researchers were able to break some the normal cryptographic algorithms that we use in encryption. So there's this aspect of quantum computing, that is quantum cryptography rather, that is coming into play. Whether these quantum computers are able to break the current encryption algorithms that we are having, maybe such as the RSA encryption algorithms and etc. So guys are shifting towards quantum research, or maybe if you're in the cryptographic field, you can start researching on the aspects of quantum cryptography, so that at least we can come up with some quantum resistant technologies and encryption strategies that will help us secure our data. Then lastly, we have nation state and supply chain attacks, which are whereby artificial intelligence amplifies these attack capabilities in real sense. And we have artificial intelligence being leveraged in the security operations centers to help us in automating some of the monitoring and response times, to reduce the response times within our SOCs. So lastly, I'll just brush off something about IoT. But before I brush it off, I can just show us one video on how these models work. I used, maybe without being biased, I used ChatGPT as our subject matter for today. And ideally, it can give us a gist of how these models are programmed to work.
Everyone, if you've ever been curious about how ChatGPT works, you've come to the right place. In the next 3 minutes, I'm going to break it down for you in the simplest way possible. Ready? Let's dive in. First off, ChatGPT is an AI language model developed by OpenAI. But what does that mean? Think of it as a super smart computer program trained to understand and generate human-like text. The magic behind ChatGPT lies in something called transformers. No, not the robots. Transformers are a type of neural network architecture that's great at handling sequences of data, like sentences. They allow ChatGPT to consider the context of a conversation, rather than just spitting out random words. So, how does ChatGPT learn? It starts with a process called pre-training. During this phase, the AI reads through vast amounts of text data from the internet. We're talking books, articles, websites, you name it. By doing this, it learns grammar, facts about the world, and even some reasoning abilities. After pre-training, ChatGPT goes through fine-tuning. Here, it's trained on a narrower dataset with human reviewers guiding it. This helps it become more accurate and safe in its responses. Now let's talk about how it generates text. When you type in a question or a prompt, ChatGPT breaks it down word by word. It then predicts the next word in the sequence, building up a response one word at a time. Because of its training, it's really good at figuring out what makes sense contextually. But it's not perfect. Sometimes it can give incorrect or nonsensical answers. This is because it doesn't actually understand the text like a human does. It's just really good at patterns and probabilities. You might be wondering, is ChatGPT safe? Well, OpenAI has put in a lot of effort to make it as safe as possible. There are filters to block inappropriate content and mechanisms to minimize harmful outputs. However, it's still a work in progress, and user feedback is crucial for improvement. So, there you have it. ChatGPT is a fascinating piece of technology, blending advanced neural networks with massive amounts of data to generate human-like text. It's not perfect, but it's a giant leap forward in AI. If you found this explanation helpful,
Yes, so ideally we have this giant leap forwards in AI trying to help us so that at least we can be quite efficient in our day-to-day activities. So as I crown it up, I'll just brush off some things about Internet of Things, which is also one of the emerging technologies that we have into play nowadays. We have different cyber physical devices that or systems that are being leveraged in our organizations. So daily IoT, that is the Internet of Things, it refers to the physical devices that are normally embedded with sensors, software, and connectivity that enable them to collect, exchange, and act on data via the internet, often without human intervention. So these also collect a vast amount of data that need to be protected. So in our security world, these devices, they have proven to be so much important to us, as they can be a point of, and they as well as the AI models can be attacked if they are not configured properly. So we have some of the common attacks that can be leveraged to IoT devices. We have most of them employing the default credentials from the manufacturers. So ideally, most of the IoT users, they do not change the default factory set passwords. And these, an example, we have a Mirai botnet attack in 2016 that affected over 600 devices that were interconnected to it. So IoT is also it acts as a gateway attack vector, where attackers can use a compromised IoT device to enter a larger network, because we know that these devices are always interconnected. Then they can also be prone to physical access tampering. And so I believe that some of these, you're going to interact with them from the notes that I've shared. And also for this case study, you're going to, because of time, you're going to interact with it from the slides that will be shared. So as an interactive exercise, I have this model over here called it's a model, the AI model called 11labs.io. So this one will help you to create some different voices. It will enable you to have text to speech. It can change your voice. It can apply some sound effects to your voice, and it can isolate your voice as well. It has different models as well, where you can create or clone a voice of someone that you wish based on the different credits that you'll have. So I'll just paste the link on the chat so that at least you can interact with it, and you can create some voiceovers. So you can create some voiceovers. Then, as a parting shot to today's class, the request us to go to, since we are learning something about artificial intelligence and the emerging trends, so you can go to this link as well, dreamvideo.ai. You can create, you can write some text on the interactive interface and create a video based on the text that you have applied. So majorly you're going to create a video based on whatever you've learned on the 2 days of the cybersecurity awareness by ICT Authority and Capabuil Limited. So, but for now, we are going to take this task on 11 labs. So once you have created something, you can just do a thumbs up for me. So once you create your as a home assignment to you, you'll do the dream video AI. Just write some text based on whatever you've learned. Choose an avatar, then post it on your socials and tag ICT Authority and Capabuil. I've shared it on the wrong platform. Let me just share it again. It is 11labs.io. I'm sharing it in a while. Then we have dreamvideo.ai. So for Dream Video, just create a video at your own free time. Then you can post it on your socials and tag Capabuil Limited and ICT Authority, who are the main sponsors for this cybersecurity awareness session. You can as well post the phishing simulation results that you had yesterday on your socials as well, so that people can know that you are getting something from these awareness sessions. So I'd open the floor to questions. If you have any question and concern, maybe you can raise your hand so that at least we can engage on those. Seeing people raising their hands. I don't know if they are old hands or they have raised their hands right now. You can tag ICT Authority and Capabuil Limited. But for now, we are doing a lab on creating a sort of a deep fake using 11 labs. For the certificates, you'll receive a communication from the organizers on how you'll get them. So we are creating, creating a voice, you're creating a voice on 11labs.io. So that's the lab that we're interacting with right now. Then, as well as part of our leisure time activity, you can create a video on Dream Video AI based on whatever you've learned on these 2 days, on the 2 days of our engagement in the cybersecurity awareness trainings. So I'm not quite sure if Nicholas has a question. Nicholas, Aloisi, Ewerton. I'm not quite sure if you guys have questions or concerns. And Sarah. Any questions? Oh, Richard has no mic. So Joshua maybe can give Richard the mic. Richard Muma. I'll share the PPTs with the organizers so that they can get to you guys. So that will be taken care of.
Hello.
Yes, hi.
Yeah, mine. I was just to ask some different questions to get more understand. My question was to ask about how does the facial password affect maybe because I do see some people use the facial password. They don't need to use fingerprint, either the keys, passwords, but they use the facial password. Can this affect you or not?
I didn't get your question quite well. Can you recap again?
Yeah, I need to get understanding on the use of password. This is why I said that my questions might be different a bit from today's sessions. Some people do use some password. They compose some letters to set the password, for example. Others, they use fingers as a key password. Others, they use facial password. So they check on the phone, and then the phone can reflect based on the setting that they set as the password. Can this facial password affect maybe someone's sensory, either emotionally? This is what I need to understand.
Okay, maybe, okay. The facials, they are also a form of biometric form of gaining access to maybe our phones or maybe some resources that we have stored in our machines. So ideally, for the facials, they also use AI to analyze they also use AI to analyze some key features. They use some templates which are stored in our biometric storage devices. So really these templates, they're normally compared in a database of other facial templates that are stored to verify whether this is a legitimate person or not that is trying to unlock this device. So it all boils down again to you going to do a research on how these facial biometrics work. And it is always influenced by some other factors such as light. If you are in an area of that has a poor lighting, maybe the phone won't be able to unlock because it is much more reliant on light for it to be able to work efficiently. Then someone has said that as well, it is also affected if you have someone who is more of a lookalike, it can equally unlock the resources so that at least this person can be able to gain access to your resources. But as well, someone might clone your picture and try to gain access to these resources that are stored in your phone. But as a feature, these it checks against some different pattern matching in biometrics to help us to identify whether this person is legitimate or not legitimate. So ideally it boils down to biometrics, key features, and what have you. So we can just go and do a search on the facials as feature in biometrics. We have different features in biometrics that can be able to help us as authentication methodologies.
Thank you.
All right. Caleb is unmuted.
Yeah, can I please add something?
Yes, please.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I know I'm talking too much, but it's because I'm passionate about cybersecurity. Yeah, so you said that we have policies makers. Do we have representative from ICT authority online?
So I'm not quite sure about that.
Yeah,
Unless
because yeah.
Unless someone from ICT authority confirms to us.
Yeah, so my last contribution, I just wanted to say, to some extent, cybersecurity of the nation relies majorly on the government, as much as it's a global issue, but the policies that are implemented by the government will tend to make the citizen more secure. So then, as maybe cybersecurity practitioners or professionals, it's also good to advise the citizens that security is not absolute. There's nothing like absolute security. So as much as we implement both sides, but they need to be need to be vigilant on the activity and the exposure of their data, because majorly data is the source of cybersecurity threats to anybody. So I just wanted to, because I'm passionate about people being safe online. That's what I wanted to add, and the mentality of these. Maybe some people don't know. Like if you say the hacker, hacking majorly to my side, it's not using majorly somebody like technical thing of using computer to do some technical thing. Even basic things like somebody like we talked about yesterday, social engineering. They're just basic, so we need to be vigilant on those. Thank you very much.
Right, thank you for those add-ons. Yes, Beatrice.
Yeah, mine was just also to reckon the two speakers that have spoken right now. My concern was the fact that right now, currently, many institutions and government collect our data. How can we be sure that our information is safe out there and that cyber attacks and all this misuse of our data is protected? I mean, how can we protect ourselves, and how can the government come in to ensure that the information that is shared by its citizens is protected? Because I'm sure, I mean, this will lead to so many I'll say it. There's so much information being given to the government, but now how can we be sure as a citizen that this information is protected? Just reckoning what the two speakers have spoken.
Okay, thank you for that. So this boils down back to the policies that are being developed towards securing our data. And that will take us to whatever we'll discuss in the next session tomorrow, something on data protection, so that at least you can learn our different rights, the principles that guide data protection, collection, and etc. and storage as well, so that at least you can know whatever is supposed to happen to our data and whatever precautions that are supposed to be taken by different organizations regarding our data. Yes, Sarah Thomas, I'm not quite sure if you have something. Lucas also says that whoever has your data has signed an NDA form that are not authorized to share anybody's sensitive or maybe the personally identifiable information. So we'll learn something interesting about data protection tomorrow, so we can look forward to tomorrow's session as well on data protection. Okay, I'm not sure if there's a new hand. Okay, Melbourne. We have Paul Mwamburi. Paul Mwamburi, then David. Seems like you can't get hold of them, but due to time, maybe due to time we can call it a class, or maybe you can call it a question. So all the notes will be shared. All the notes will be shared by the organizer, so we can look after them after the sessions. I'll share them with the organizer so that at least they can share them with you for your own reference at your leisure time. So you can create videos on Dream Video AI, and you can share it on our socials. Remember to tag ICT Authority, Capabuil, and myself on your feedback. So with that, I thank you once again for being a wonderful audience and for the wonderful discussions around artificial intelligence that we've had today. And I believe that from this class, at least, we are going to take the precautionary measures when using artificial intelligence to help us in working around our day-to-day activities. So thank you for having me here today, and see you tomorrow. So I'll take it back to Joshua to wind it up. Thank you.
Okay. Good evening once again. Thank you, Bema, for the good learning that you've provided unto us, and also to the members who are present. And also, I would like to thank the learners who are around for having taken that time, full time. I can see the participants are still a good number. And thank you also for maintaining it to this time. And I would like to encourage us that just as I heard someone saying she shared about what they had learned, so this also goes to the rest. You can also share the same with your fellows there at work or at school, so that you can also get to help your fellows. Otherwise, I wish you a good night, and hope to see you tomorrow. All the participants, together with the rest who have not gotten the opportunity this evening, I hope tomorrow we'll also learn more and more. So the session will be ending tomorrow, and everything will be sorted within the week, even as we proceed. Things to do with the certificates, together with the notes that majority of us are asking about. So I wish you guys a good night, and thank you once again. You're now free to leave.